Yeah, between two burns. Between two burns, yeah, between two burns. Come and join the convo. Jason and Ethan here to talk, yo. Chillin' while we filling up the room with cigar smoke. Hey, between two burns. Between two burns, yeah, between two burns. This be the show that you like. We always keeping it hype. We got cigars and a mic, talking the pipe and the pint. Let's go.
It's Between Two Burns. We are back. We on the last podcast we promised, like, yo, we're gonna be so diligent. We're gonna be so many episodes in your inbox. You're not even gonna believe it. And we've taken a longer gap on this one than we probably have any of the last couple.
Yeah, I think we we talked about opening the cigar lounge on the last podcast episode, and one thing we didn't talk about is how busy we've been, and I think we underestimated even how busy we thought we would be.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
Listen, good problems to have.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a cigar lounge person, this is a great problem to have. And we're recording the pod. It's July 2nd.
Yep.
Most of you guys are going to hear this probably. I'm going to try to drop it on the 3rd, if not the 4th at the latest. So this will be your sitting at the pool, sitting at the beach, drinking a beer, smoking a cigar podcast to listen to.
Yep.
So happy 4th of July for those people who are listening to it.
250, baby.
250, that's right. But let's see what time it is. It's 4:45, and I half wanted to record this podcast so we could sit down for an hour. We're upstairs. It is absolutely slam packed in the lounge right now. Last night it was slammed. For those who are customers, maybe out of 10, we had our first ever. We've been open 7 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who's been listening has been following along with us. Had our first. We've had events already, but our first bourbon night event, we did it with Montana, who represents Michter's in our area. Got great compliments on the deal that we offered, right? It was $30 ticket. You got a 1 ounce pour of 4 different Michter's bourbons. It was their straight bourbon, their rye, sour mash, and their American whiskey, I believe. And you got the Anastasia cigar from Caldwell, which is something we'll touch on, which for us is a $24 cigar in the lounge. It was awesome value. Just awesome value. Packed the place out for the event. Had our friends with the Good Times Gang Cigar Club came out to just enjoy the evening and sit on the patio. About 30 to 35 of them were hanging out in the patio, and just an unbelievably hot and unbelievably fun night. Like, it was awesome to do, and we've had a lot of this already so far.
Yeah, we were joking about it because you'd asked me if I was staying to hang out, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to try these bourbons. I'd had all of them except for one before. And you and I ended up just busting dishes and getting drinks all
That's
night.
what you got to do, man. You got to we got to step up and, be the grunt workers that evidently we are these days, which is good. But yeah, it was an awesome event. And, the funny thing is a couple of people have asked me, like, how's it going since you've opened? And the response has been honestly better than even anticipated. I really got to be honest. I knew we were going to be impactful on people in the community of cigars and drinks and everything like that. And we had reason to believe that, we weren't losing any customers or anything like that, which is great. And everybody's come over. So many new faces, right? Or just maybe we only saw them a couple times a year and we see them a couple times a week.
Yeah, somebody asked me the night we did, I think it was the Fuente event, how many people I knew in the store. And I've always prided myself on knowing everybody's names that walks through the door. I knew like 3 people that were here. And it's funny because, we still have our regular crowd during the day.
Oh, absolutely. Still
know those guys. They've also got a regular crowd in the evening that you and I don't see.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But those guys have been coming in during the day now some, and I mean it's just been great. But yeah, you talking about the podcast, we wanted to record this last week.
Yeah.
Got busy. We were going to record it Tuesday. Got busy. Then we were going to record it yesterday.
Could not have done that.
Wasn't happening, and then it was questionable whether or not we were going to get to do it today. Because listen, it's Thursday. Like you said, it's 3:45, and there's people sitting at the bar and in the front smoking, which we avoid at all costs. But we have no choice. We
want to accommodate everybody we can. Obviously, when you're listening to this, especially if it doesn't kind of matter where you're listening to this. If you're somewhere in the United States, it is hot everywhere, but specifically on the East Coast, it is an absolute heat dome is what they're calling it. Like, it's close to 100 today. It's supposed to be 100 Saturday, I think. And for those of you who live in the Southeast, know there's 100, and then there's 100 with humidity. And that's what makes you feel like you just stepped out of the shower at all times, basically. But it's been great. But, what I was going to say is I've had a couple people ask me how it's going. It's going great. Historically, the dead heat of the summer is not our slowest time. I think with a lot of retail businesses, right after the holidays come slow because you've run through holiday shopping and everything like that. But behind that, as far as slow time, is right in the dead heat of the dog days of summer. Right now, right up kind of at, we always have a 4th of July bump. You have people coming in for the holiday or people buying things to go out of town. But that kind of few weeks leading up to 4th of July and the few weeks after, kind of then into early August, has a tendency to be, for the regular stores outside of our beach store, a little bit of a slower time because smoking outside calms down a little bit because it's so hot. It's so hot right now. God love the folks that hung out on the patio last night. Now, the nice thing is in the evening, the patio ends up being shaded, which is some reprieve from the sun. But if you're just at home and you don't have a cool place to go, it's hard to enjoy a cigar sitting out in this heat.
I do not smoke cigars outside at home this time of year.
No.
And no. I'm thankful for every person that does because I can smoke a cigar when it's cold. I can't smoke a cigar when it's hot because the nicotine hits harder. It just feels like it's sticking to you. You're sweating.
I'd gladly go out in 42 degrees if it's sunny out with no wind or something like that and smoke a cigar with a jacket on and like that. No problem. Like, short of going out in your drawers, which is still not going to help. You're going to go outside smoking a cigar. So we've had some reprieve on the patio because these get shaded, but, we now have a place, though, I think that people realize, hey, it's 100 degrees outside, but I can go inside. The AC is working overtime.
Real hard.
You know what I mean? Like, the HVAC guys listen to it, the kind of the adage is AC is only good, I think, up to 20 degrees. I think based on the outside temperature is what you can reduce to. Drop in the comments if I'm wrong, but I've always kind of heard that. So, like, if it's 98, 99 degrees outside, you're going to be lucky to get something down your house or whatever it may be to 75, 76. It just can't drop that much, because of the air is pulling from outside. So, it's been fantastic. So I'm just glad we're sitting in this room, which is only a slightly bit cooler, but at least it's not
terribly humid though.
No,
it's not direct sunlight.
There's no direct sunlight. That's right. And our getting there podcast studio.
We got a sign.
We've got some artwork up. We got our sign that's got to get put up in the middle. I think we're going to try to light it up. I did break it the other day. So may have to get us another one. We have the first of 2 personalized bobbleheads. So I've got my
Oh, I hadn't seen that yet.
There it is, right there. Shout out to my mom who got it for me for my birthday. I'll zoom in on it on the camera.
Hilarious.
That is
you're like Carlito now, man.
A pretty decent likeness to me, but I'm going to task her with where she got that to get one for you so it can sit right there. So
sick.
So we can have our Between Two Burns bobbleheads. We'll get you one. Got to sign up. We got some artwork up. We're getting curtains and getting the lighting correct and stuff like that. So it's a work in progress, but it looks cool now. I like it. Now we've got it set up. We literally just popped up here and this is ready to go and everything like that. So, and hopefully we're going to start seeing some people that are coming through that we can start doing some interviews with and everything like that would be a lot of fun, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So, we're kind of telling you how everything's going, but I think the highlight of today's podcast, we want to talk a little bit about, we've had an influx of new stuff. We've talked about it in the past. We're coming off the trade show. Things kind of leak in gradually over the year. Some things are coming later in the year. But we've had an influx of a lot of new stuff that I want to go over, kind of introduce people to. And they're making the review circuit, right? They're getting out. They're getting in the hands of the guys at Half Wheel or Aficionado, whoever it is. And there's been some ups and downs for some of these things that we want to talk about. And I think you kind of raised the question, hey, let's talk about a little bit what makes a great cigar. and not necessarily an overall great cigar, but what makes a great cigar for us, for you and I, and what that looks like for each individual person, because different strokes for different folks, right? You smoke much more full cigars and enjoy more full cigars than I do.
Yep.
I'm a medium cigar person. I've smoked more mild stuff over the last year, probably gotten really Connecticut heavy just because I've been really enjoying those. But it's like I said, different strokes, different folks, or different folks, different strokes. And we kind of want to touch on what we look for in a cigar. But I do want to run through some of the new stuff that we've seen before we kind of get into that.
We're gonna start with what you're smoking?
Yeah. I've been told about 10 times to smoke it. We don't carry Avo specifically deep in all the stores. A couple of stores do. We've kind of explored bringing a little bit of it in. It's obviously a brand that a lot of people know. You're going to have to fill me in for it because I've just lit it. It's great on the light. It's the new Expressivo. Is that how it is?
Yep.
Because I've heard somebody say expression as well, but that's not right, right?
Expressivo.
Expressivo. Limited edition, or is it going to be core?
Core line.
Core line, okay.
Ecuadorian wrapper, Honduran binder, Honduran and Nicaraguan filler. It's a little pricey. That's my only complaint with it. I didn't realize the price of it when pre-ordered it at the show, but smoked it. Actually, I did not smoke it when I came back. I gave my samples to Austin and to Cole, the two samples that I got while I was at the show, and both of them smoked it and were like, holy shit, this thing's awesome. And they're not big Avo smokers, not because Avo's bad, but because it doesn't fit their palate, which is what we're going to get into today. But they loved it, and so next time we saw the rep, she gave me one, and I smoked it, and I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it would be in your wheelhouse too. And then I'm going to say what I'm smoking because I want to give somebody a shout out because I know he listens to the podcast, and that is the most generous person in the cigar industry, Mr. Mike Martello.
Oh, yeah.
He was lucky.
Oh, this is okay. Go
He
ahead.
was lucky enough to go to the Titans of Tobacco event that Tobacconists of Greenwich put on, which, in my opinion, coolest event in the last 5 years.
Coolest event I've seen.
10 years, maybe. But this is the Foundation 10th anniversary cigar that was in the sampler box. He was kind enough to send me one of each of the cigars that was in there. So, Mike, if you're listening to this and you hadn't smoked it yet, Foundation 10th Toro, real good.
So that thing was 5 or 6 different.
So it was 6 cigars.
Yes.
So the guys at the event were Carlito Fuente,
Yep.
Henke Kellner, Eladio Diaz, Lito Gomez, George Padron, and Nick Malillo.
Yep.
And so they all did their own cigar for the sampler. And they were all special sizes that had never been done before. So it was an Opus 25th in the Toro. I think they were all 6x54. Opus 25th, Foundation 10th anniversary, LFD 30th, a Henke Kellner cigar, an Eladio Diaz cigar, and then Padron Black.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's a Padron Black and a box press 6x54. So thank you again, Mike, for this. These are really expensive cigars, and we'll get into that too. You know, how much does price come into consideration when picking out this perfect cigar?
Related but unrelated, but related. If you didn't see it, Ortolan event with Mr. Martello dropping September 12th. September 12th in the Greensboro store.
It'll be the southeast release of it. So he's doing world release at the Cigar Den August 29th up in Jersey, and then the next event will be here.
Gonna be sick.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. I can't wait for people to have this cigar because you and I have talked about it. Like, this was not us blowing smoke on a person that we like. Like, it is so good. Now, the interesting thing is, I don't know if you've seen it. There's Mike has kind of reposted these things to his Instagram, the Martello Cigars one. He's got it in the hands of some other people.
Yeah, I know.
Who, are having
Unicorns cigars.
Yeah, it's like a podcast as well.
Yeah, they do like a monthly cigar thing. They bought some. He's also, I want you to buy the jar from us, but if you can't wait, I don't know if there's any left. El Titan de Bronze was selling some on their website for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't even know if there's any left. It was a very small amount. But yeah, he's going to be coming September the 12th, and so I gave one to Daniel last night because he sent me a couple more.
Oh, yeah.
And he hadn't smoked it, and he grabbed me at the event, and he was like, bro, what the hell is this? And I was like, I know, man. And I told him the story behind it, which We'll have Mike on a podcast once he's down here.
Oh, yeah,
we'll have
for
a podcast in person. He can tell the story. That's not mine to tell, but it's the cigar of the year. I don't care what else I smoke. It's the best thing I've smoked this year. It was the best thing I smoked last year. I just don't count it for last year because it didn't come out last year. So
I'm just glad to see other impartial parties having the same reaction as we are. I think that helps him to really, like, I think if you're a creator of anything, third party, whether it means anything or not in the grand scheme of things, that, you know, that you can debate that. But I think as the creator of anything, third party validation, where it's not somebody, we would tell him the truth, certainly. But there's always that in your back of your mind. It's like, oh, of course they like it. You know, they're friends and everything like that. Having others then on board being like, yo, you've got something here. Like, that's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to imagine.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. But other new stuff, you want me to rapid fire this? Or?
Yeah, we can go through some of this stuff for sure.
I'm going to go through the Rolodex here. Well, first and foremost, we had Tatuaje Creature in.
Tatuaje Creature, big one.
It's already sold out in Greensboro. There might be some still floating around the other stores. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I know, tat guy, whatever. But it was really good. I will say it was a little bit more medium than the other two expressions of it, and I assume that has something to do with the size. The other ones were.
It also probably has something to do with why I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like Tatuaje. Hey, don't get me wrong, and everything like. But I really enjoyed this creature because I think it was a little bit more toned down than maybe some other releases of Monster stuff has been.
Yep. Along with the Avo Expresivo, we got in the new Zeno Honduras, which, listen, when the Zeno Connecticut came out, the Zeno Nicaragua, the first thing we said is you need a Maduro.
Maduro version.
You need a Maduro.
Yeah.
And now they've got it, and it's selling just as well as the Connecticut does. That cigar is awesome for the money.
This is a compliment. Simple, straightforward, good price.
Yep.
Good cigar.
Consistent.
All those things together equates sales. If you could put something in somebody's hand that the price point is right, it's not a bunch of goofiness. It's it's what, 4 sizes, 3 sizes, 4 sizes?
I think it's just 3. I don't think they did a Gordo yet. I think it's just half Corona, Robusto, and Toro.
Yep. I'm sure they will have a Gordo at some point in time of it, but straightforward. Nice packaging, simple packaging, doesn't take up a bunch of space on the shelf. The box is bright, so it stands out, and it's just really good. And this one is Honduras compared to the other one, which is a Nicaraguan.
Yep.
Yeah. But another example of really good things coming out of Honduras. Honduras not always been my favorite, but man, it's really converted me with some of the things that we have gotten.
Yep. New Rocky Patel Sapphire. Have you smoked it?
I haven't had a chance to smoke it.
I haven't had the chance to smoke it either.
Another good packaging from them.
Yeah. They knock it out of the park with packaging. They just do. San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan, Honduran binder, and filler. Feedback from it at the show was that it was really good. I smoked the Year of the Horse at the show instead of the Hat Sapphire, which I actually really liked. But we did get that in. My father, we got in semi-new, back in the humidor. They've redone the 100 Años. The 100 Años. Which is one of the best cigars, in my opinion, they've made in the last 5 years or so. Proprietary wrapper leaf on that. It's the I don't know if it's a tweaked Le Bijou blend or not, but that wrapper leaf that they got on there is awesome. The cigar is phenomenal. And then we got the MAM back in. Flor de las Antillas MAM back in, which if you're a long-time listener of the podcast, you've heard us talk about that. But if not, it's a specific size for the mid-Atlantic market of Flor de las Antillas. It's a 6x48 round Toro. I'll be the first person to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of Flor de las Antillas. For whatever reason, that size is unbelievable.
I'm very mid on Flor de las Antillas as a regular cigar as well. Evidently nothing is different about it.
You smoked the new one?
Yeah.
Still good?
Still
rocking?
Yep. Still spot on. It's just great. And I don't know if it's some sort of placebo, because I don't personally smoke much box press stuff. It's not my favorite. I don't just a personal preference thing. So I don't know if it's a placebo thing because it's not box press and I'm like, oh, this is so much better. I haven't done a side by side, to be honest with you. So, I could do that. I really, really like it. Now it's interesting, I'm going to make fun of a person who I don't know her name and never saw her or met her, but said something to you that, was not willing enough to listen to what you were saying to understand that we are not in Greenville, South Carolina. We are in Greensboro, North Carolina, and told you when you said that you had it. Yeah. Well, that's not really the Mid-Atlantic market. Well, Greensboro, North Carolina, very much in the Mid-Atlantic.
Very much.
Greenville, South Carolina, nice place.
Yeah.
Not the place that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good 3.5 hours from us going straight south. So, but shout out to, I'm sure she doesn't listen. So, but maybe just next time do better.
I'm not going to say anything. And then not new cigar, but new in the humidor. We brought a Luzione back in.
Luzione's back in.
And West Tampa. Did we have that the last time we did this podcast?
So even some of the other stuff, I think, since the last time, like West Tampa.
Got the Chef Rick in as well.
Chef Rick is great.
I know. You've been smoking the hell out of that thing.
I love that. I don't know anything about what it is or what
it's undisclosed. I think they said it was a Habano wrapper, but I assume Nicaragua.
I love undisclosed because then I don't have to, that's all I got to say when somebody asks about it. I just know it's good. I haven't, since we got them in, I haven't smoked devil crab. I've had devil crab.
It's good.
When we had it. I'm not a big pig style roll is how I would describe that.
Listen, if you like a pig, the feral flying pig from Jewel State, or bacon, I don't know. The devil crab is exactly what you're looking for. It's strong, it's aggressive, it's full flavored, it's full bodied. Mm-hmm. It was a little much when I smoked it, just because I didn't know what to expect. I figured it would be a little strong. It was very aggressive pepper. I kind of got to be in the mood for that. Yeah. But I didn't knock it for it. Like it is what it is, and if that's your thing, I get why people love it.
Yeah. Where do you fall on the pig shape and
style?
I
hate it. I think it's stupid.
Got it. Thank you. Perfect. There's literally no response to that. I appreciate the straightforwardness. We also got La Leotard back in, which I'm not sure that we've talked about. We've talked about it being released, but I don't know that we've talked about it on the pod since having it as a new cigar.
Yeah, because we got it sold out in a day and didn't get it back for a month and a half.
Which is the new Honduran from my father. Yep. And I apologize if we're repeating this, but you may have missed it last time anyway, which was their new release at the trade show. Again, another Honduran to kind of back up last year's hit, which is the Blue, My Father Blue, which is their first Honduran out there. I enjoy La Leotard. I think it's very good. I like Blue better personally. In what I've said a couple times that people have asked about it, I feel like if that La Leotard had come out first, okay, it come out before the Blue, I think when you smoked it, you would have been very much like, oh yeah, okay, this is a Honduran My Father. It gives off far more My Father as a overall, if you were kind of to lump them into one big pile, the vibe that you get from most of the My Father cigars comes through in a Honduras way with La Leotard, where the Blue didn't or doesn't, in my opinion, just in my personal opinion. It feels very much as an outlier in a great way. Mm-hmm. The same way that the Legacy last year for Perdomo felt like an outlier to the brand a little bit in a very positive way. The Blue very much to me feels like that. Like the La Leotard hits with a bit more spice and the vibe that you would get from a typical My Father than the Blue does.
I will say too, from a sales standpoint, at least at this location, and I mean Greensboro, not as Pipe and Pint overall, I feel like the customer likes the Blue more. The reason I say that is because we got all that Blue back in stock, and then we got La Leotard right after that, and the Blue's already almost gone, and we've got a little bit of La Leotard on the shelf. Yeah. Now, that's not to say La Leotard's a bad cigar, because I like it more than the Blue, because I like the spice.
Oh, do you? Okay, gotcha.
But again, we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. But the reception of it still was very good, and I still think it was a good cigar for them. Second cigar coming out of Honduras. I'm most curious to see what's going to come from Tatuaje out of Honduras for obvious reasons.
Because so far the only thing we have seen is Series P.
And it's stellar. It's mixed filler, and it's stellar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It flies off the shelf.
Flies. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens, how long it's going to take for that to come out. But going back to West Tampa and Illusione. West Tampa's been awesome. So awesome that it's going in all the stores.
Yep. Been great.
Sometime next week, there'll be a representation at every store, including the beach store. And then Illusione, it's a passion project for me. I shouldn't say passion project. I love Illusione. Like
I do too.
I was looking in the humidor earlier, and the humidor, we had to get a second island. If you've never seen our humidor, we've always had one island, but we had to get a second one to make more room for stuff. So the back side of the second island has Tatuaje and Illusione on it. And if I had to pick any section of the humidor to smoke for an eternity,
you would just go through that section.
You give me that back side of the island, I'm happy.
Yep.
Illusione, in my opinion, Dion has the best palate in the industry. And unfortunately, I don't know, he doesn't seem to care.
What they don't have is the best. Marketing is probably a more generalized term than maybe I'm thinking. It just, you know how they say like he's your comedian's favorite comedian, right? There'll be a guy that a lot of people have never heard of and they don't see on TV or doing shows or whatever. And you'll have 10 of your favorite comedians who are like, this guy's so funny. This guy is so funny. I feel like Illusione is your favorite cigar maker's favorite cigar. It's kind of like one of those ways
comparison.
One of those ways of putting it, right? Like if you know, and they kind of leave it at that.
Yep. And I will say the new rebranding looks awesome.
Packaging
they did
looks great.
A very good job with that. I liked, from the cigar geekiness and the weird side of things, the whole 88 CG4 888, but nobody understood what core line was and everything. So now they've got the core line of
there is a bit more brand definition now.
Ultra, Corojo, Habano, Maduro, and then there's also the Candela, which we didn't bring in. And then he's got all the other stuff too, Epernay Tunella. He still does the Halt 10, Group of 5, one-off Black and 10, all that other stuff. But we brought the core line back in because we used to carry it, and it did really well. And then it kind of lost favor, but now with the rebranding and everything, they seem to be pushing it again, and it's selling. I wasn't expecting it to come out at a fast clip, but the guys that have smoked it before know what it is. They're excited it's back in here, and I personally love it, and I like selling things that I love, so I'm happy to have it back.
Yeah, for sure. Again, another new one, new to us since probably last pod. It's Caldwell in the humidor.
Yeah. God,
which has been listen, I'm going to get from some people like backlash, like I was against Caldwell, which was not the case. It just before we moved here, it just didn't have a place in the humidor.
Right.
It just really didn't. Now with some expanded room and some good flow and a way to properly merchandise it, it does have room. Now, did the guys at Caldwell, you know who you are, Franklin Kleckner, wear me down over time with great offers and deals? Yes. Did it work? Yes. Is it selling? Yes. Okay. So
that last part's the big part right there.
That part's the big part, baby. I like it a lot. I enjoy it.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I
did not think it was going to do as well as it's doing.
I didn't either.
I thought it would sell over time. We sold out so fast.
Yep.
And that's great. I was wrong. I'll admit it. Like I genuinely did not think that there was like a legitimate place for a significant size facing of it in the humidor, and I was wrong. I was just wrong.
Yeah, I like their packaging. It's also another kind of straightforward kind of thing. Like here's them and these are boxes. It works really good. And it, as part of the company that it is part of now, has really good support and backing, which I think is, when we talk about what makes a great cigar, from my perspective as a, owner of shops where we're putting this stuff, is critically important. Because we have seen this with a company that you just talked about, where we bring something in we like, and then we sell it, and then we want more of it, and then there is no more of it. And or it's not coming for a period of time, and we're behind on this and we're behind on that. Listen, back orders and all that happen. That's not a knock on that. But the support, the infrastructure, the logistics they have now to get it out to the masses, far more improved than it was before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, marketing as well. I've met Robert Caldwell a few times. I like Robert Caldwell as a person. He did not do himself any favors when he was the brand owner. Mm-mm. You got the infamous booth that he left with trash all over it that was just a table, right, at PCA that he got a bad rap for. Him being involved with the company is still a good thing, but them handling the front facing of all of it was much needed.
Yep.
I'm glad we brought him in. I think it's selling really well. Customers seem to really like it. And the biggest thing, and we've talked about this before, we can sell any cigar once. Whether or not the customer likes it determines whether or not they're going to come back and buy it again, right? And it's been proven with Caldwell, people coming back and buying.
Yeah, how it's presented to them by us, and, in that how we can present it goes to a lot about the support that we get from behind it. You know what I mean? Like, when we're selling things, we want to be able to continue to sell things.
Right.
You know what I mean? There are limited editions that we like dropping, but we're not going to be able to keep the lights on and make payroll by just, selling Opus in limited editions. There's just not enough of it. That's what makes it limited.
It's the same thing in the bourbon world, right? We talk about that all the time. You know what Buffalo Trace's number one selling product is? Fireball. You know how you get your Stag Junior and your Pappy? Because they sell Fireball.
That's right.
Right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Buffalo Trace. They make great bourbon, but that's what pays the
really
bills.
Love Fireball.
You know who really likes Fireball?
Who?
David Gillette.
Does he really?
Yeah, he was the one that wanted us to get it in here. I swear.
Oh my God! I might just get a bottle of Fireball in here just for him to be able to drink it and see if he legitimately likes Fireball.
Yeah, say take shots of it out on the golf course.
We've been dealing shots. That is something that I guess I knew. Yeah, okay, somebody at some point in time and stuff like that. I mean, we sold.
We poured 22 shots at last time.
to a one group last night. I'm like, goodness gracious.
But yeah, I think that's the rundown on all the new stuff. There are one or two other new things coming, but we're at capacity.
Yeah, we're at capacity. We've got
capacity.
Stuff. I think there'll be more Tatuaje new things. Yep. We know that. That's the Rocky release. Probably the most anticipated, I think, release for the rest of the year is probably going to be Father and Son from Perdomo, which I personally am excited to try.
I smoked it.
You smoked it. We'll save your opinion on that for when it comes through. I love Legacy. Mm-hmm. So be very interested to see the vibe of it, personally comes out when it gets here. I think that's Q4, probably realistically. I think that's October, November. Yeah. So that'll be a holiday cigar and everything like that. So that's coming. We got the new stuff from AJ. I think we probably talked about Amar already, which is really good. Flies off the shelf, which is crazy.
I think the next new, brands that we already carry, new thing that we're going to get, assuming that they're telling the truth on when it's coming, there's a big if there, is the new LFD Project Carbon Fiber.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's the
one in the 5-pack.
Comes in the 5-pack.
Yeah, that's super limited, but that is coming because I really do think from all the brands that we carry, pretty much everything else has come. Now, Tat 20 Black and Havana 6 may come before then, which that is spectacular. Consistency in cigars. This is another podcast topic, but I have lots of thoughts on this Tat 20 that I haven't talked to you about.
Well, I mean, I think it is a little bit of for this podcast, if we're talking about what makes a great cigar, because that consistency, I know it sounds like, consistency may be my number one. Yeah.
So tangential, and we can get into it a little bit more here in a bit. So the Tat 20 Black Label and the box press torpedo is the one that I got at the show, and it was the only one I got. And I smoked it after I got back, had time to rest, wanted to make sure I was good. The wrapper leaf on that cigar was 2 times darker than what's on normal Black Label. And it tasted, if Black Label Tatuaje always tasted like that, it would be my favorite cigar that Pete makes. But it doesn't. And I don't know why, I don't know if this is a special wrapper leaf. He didn't say it was.
Right.
But I don't know if it's a higher priming. I don't know if it's been aged longer. But it is like if you put the TAT 20 black label next to like regular black label, you would think that the 20th is a Maduro and the regular's a natural. That's how different the shade of the wrapper leaf was on it. That bothers me. Now, with that being said, is the cigar awesome and I'm excited to get it in? Yes. I actually don't know if it's a limited edition or not. I think it is, but either way, it does bother me that it's that different. That's my tangent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, consistency for me is near the top, if not at the top of what, because if you find a cigar for the first time that you're like, oh my God, I love this. And then you go right to the next one and you're like, wait a minute. And then you go back for the third one, like, oh, that one's better, but not as good. Then you go back to the fourth, it's like, oh, there it is again. If you keep that roller coaster going, it's like, what do you do? It's like, I spent 12, 13, 15 bucks on it, and then I loved it, and now I've done it again. I'm like, oh, I could have got something else, but then you're back, and it's like that cocaine train of a ride. Like, you want consistency across, whether it's consistency in the flavor profile, consistency in the construction and the quality of it, you know, whatever that may mean to you personally, but that is very much at the top of what I look for.
Yeah. Shout out to one company that has fixed a consistency issue, in my opinion, that they had is Romacraft. I love the Cro-Magnon.
We got Cro-Magnon back in.
We did get Cro-Magnon back in.
The new iteration.
Yep. Last year's, I smoked one that was awesome, smoked one that wouldn't draw, smoked one that wouldn't burn, smoked another one that was awesome. Every single one of them I've smoked this year, spot on. Spot on.
That's good.
So
that's good.
I'm thankful because, like, there's nothing worse than, like, what you just said, when you love a cigar and you buy one and it ain't what it's supposed to be.
We don't want to hear if somebody comes in and buys, you know, we recommend a cigar because we had one, it was great, right? And you recommend they pick up 5 of them, and they come back the next time you see them, you're like, hey, how was it? It's like, 2 of them, awesome. The other 3, it didn't draw, it blew up, and it was just okay.
Yep.
But, you know, but 2 of the 5, you know, you don't want that. You want 5 of the 5. Like, issues happen, right? You're going to have that. You hope that you don't. There's some companies that are way better at it than others. It's one of the numero uno reasons that Perdomo is so popular, in my opinion, because you know what you're going to get. We've talked about this probably to nauseum, but like, you know that the quality and consistency is going to be there. I'm sure somebody might be listening and be like, oh man, I got Perdomo last week and it blew up on me or it tunneled or whatever. We just don't find that to be the case very often, if ever.
Yep.
But then there's some that just like I personally, I can't remember the last time I smoked a Liga that I didn't have a problem with. Like, that is a little bit towards my own personal, like, preference on cigar. It always, I think, draws tighter than other cigars. That could be a lot to do with the tobaccos in it. I just don't care for that. It always feels like I'm struggling to smoke it and keep it lit or whatever it may be. But that's one of the big reasons I think certain companies just do it better.
Yeah.
They just do.
Padron's probably the best example. And Fuente. There's a reason they're so big. I ain't never smoked a Padron I've had a problem with. Ever.
Agreed. Yeah,
Ever.
Agreed.
Period.
Agreed.
No questions. I don't think I've ever smoked a Fuente I've had a problem with. Now, I don't smoke as many Fuente as I do Padron. But, I mean, there's a reason they're so good, right? But, with that being said, you want to get into this a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pick perfect cigars. So, give a little backstory here on why we wanted to do this podcast. So, my father, earlier this year...
The company, not your dad.
Yes. Came out with Don Pepin Garcia Classico 20th anniversary. What that is the 20th anniversary of the Cuban Classic.
Yep.
You and I both smoked it. One of the last cigars we smoked at the old shop, actually. And we both liked it.
Liked it, yeah.
Yep. Thought it was good.
Yep.
Price point on it was $22, so it's a super premium, but it was good. Half Will did a review on it.
Crushed it.
Okay. 84.
Yeah.
84 is what they gave. The first 2/3 of the Don Pepin Garcia Classico are excellent. The profile is bold but flavorful with notes of creamy peanut butter and cedar, along with intriguing combination of red pepper and rich raisin sweetness on the retrohale. Having said that, the strength became too aggressive in the final third, enough to negatively affect the overall balance, and each cigar needed multiple corrections to stay on track. Gave it an 84. So you sent me this and said, hey, did you see the people absolutely raking Half Wheel in the comments?
So it's interesting because, frankly, one of my favorite things to do if I'm actually reading articles on the internet is to half-ass read the article to get the actual points of what's being said without reading, all the filler, and then go straight to the comments and see what happens. And on Half Wheel, again, not knocking them. We love their website. We use it a lot. I enjoy the stuff they do. You'll get the occasional person in the comments who's got, some pushback for certain things, no matter what it is. It was an absolute roast fest.
Yeah. So
the comments on that Cuban Classic, it got the My Father stands came out hard.
My favorite one was someone named JB commented, 84. You clowns pull fake numbers out your ass. You get 20 different flavors before you even light the thing. Then you get 75 more while you're smoking it. I don't get 75 flavors in 6 months of cigar smoking.
Shout out JB. Which he's not, this is the, we'll go personal opinion here. He's not wrong. Okay. Like everybody smokes cigars in a different way. I have, and I've told this probably a million times, but I have a tough time pulling out the uber nuanced stuff out of it. I've told you this before, like if I'm really like coffee for me, for whatever reason, hits my palate in a way that really helps me to pull out some flavor profile. So I'll get it the best there, but I have a tough time getting to raisin and peanut butter and such. Now, that's not to say that that's not happening, because I'm not a big retrohaler and don't, so I probably lose out on that. I don't get the strength that some cigars because I don't do that. You do. So you pick up more things than I don't. So I think I have a tendency to pick up the more obvious stuff that I think that most would. And then maybe you get that through the nuance. Sometimes I feel like there's some, I want it to be like that, so that's what it is vibe. And that's not just with, the guys at Half Wheel or anything like that. That you get the funniest thing I heard when it comes to cigar flavor profiles and scents. I don't know if you heard her say this yesterday, but our person who was doing the bourbon tasting said when she was smelling all the cigars in a positive way that it smelled like new tires, which I'd never heard. And about 4 people looked at her like, well, wait, what? Like I never heard that as a thing. And that probably just goes to individual, like what you pick up, what your different things that you inherently pick up out of, whether it's smell or taste or whatever it is. But I was like, new tire. Okay.
So I get geeky about cigars.
You get geeky about it, yeah.
But at this point, there's only one person really that I actually like have a conversation with about a cigar these days, and that is Mike.
Is Martel? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's half the reason we send cigars back and forth, because he's like, I got to talk to somebody about it, or I got to talk to him about it, and it's like
you guys
on the same
have
page.
This thing going on, like it's almost like World War I pen pals, like from each, like you guys are on opposite sides of the lines, and you've created this friendship, and you're sending things back. Dear Michael, I found this great cigar.
That's exactly right.
I think the cedars will come out nicely. I hope you're doing well. And then you get a package back, and you're like, thank you for this package, Ethan. I appreciate it. Here's something I think you'll enjoy.
The funny thing is now he'll like, I'll tell him I'm sending him something, or he'll tell me he's sending him me something, and our first response to each other is "fuck you," because it's just like, come on, man. But nah, but when it comes to the geeky side of things, that's what I enjoy. But like to a customer, I don't say, hey man, this is going to taste like a s'mores, right? Like this is going to taste like roasted peanuts. This is going to have like a baker's spice, almost cinnamon note. Like I'm like, as spicy as chocolatey as coffee. All right. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you go.
Oh yeah. My favorite's always like, if we do a tasting or there's something going on and somebody asks me like, what are you getting from it? And the guy who just says smoke. It's like
what I was going to say is, one of my favorite things I was ever told, I think it was Paul Palmer of Aganorsar that told me this. He was talking to me about, like how to rate a cigar or whatever. And he was like, and what's it taste like? And I was like, oh, yeah, it tastes like this. And he said, no, it tastes like tobacco. And I was like,
gotcha. Perfect. Yeah.
Got it. Understood.
Which and that's from the horse's mouth. As
That's
they
right.
Say. Like, yeah. It's like, yep.
But so this 84, my question, or the thing that kind of spurred this and what I want to talk about with you a little bit is what legitimately makes a cigar good, right? Because obviously everybody that was pissed off really liked the cigar. And the number one thing about cigar that we'll tell people is that cigars are subjective.
I also think that this is going to the cynical piece.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a group of those people who may have never even smoked a cigar, but just use it as an opportunity to bag on somebody. Yeah. So there's going to be that too.
Yeah,
so let's
agreed.
Yeah.
But when it comes to cigars, like there are objective things that make a cigar good, and it's some of the stuff we've already talked about, right? Consistency, construction.
Yep.
Those are probably the biggest two things, with construction being the biggest. If a cigar don't draw, if a cigar don't burn, if a cigar is not humidified properly, it ain't a good cigar, right?
Yeah, just it can't be.
It can't be.
And I'll give Half Wheel the credit again, not bagging on them here, but they will smoke more than one, because you do need to smoke more than one to get the real feel of something. Because you could roll the dice and have, just by sake of bad luck, get one that has an issue. So they take those steps when they're doing it.
And then quality tobacco. I think that's the other objective thing. Like you can't have a good cigar that doesn't have good tobacco.
No, it's impossible.
It's just impossible. But
that's true with everything. But yeah,
the thing about it is the things that a lot of people rate a cigar on are the flavor and the strength, and that's the subjective piece of it. All right, I mean, we've already talked about it on the podcast. You like more medium stuff. I like more medium full usually. Flavor profile, strength level, whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah, because that ends up dropping out of context, right? Like,
correct.
So when we talk about, and people ask, oh, like, what do you recommend, or when you go this thing? Especially, let's use the example of a first timer, okay? And they went into the humidor. They're like, hey, can we help you? You ask them, you try to help. They just don't want the help, right? I got it under control. Like, you
had this was it last night? Actually?
Yeah, I did.
Or the other day?
Yeah. And they go in there. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. Yeah, this is a great example. But let's say it's a first timer, and you go in. They go in there, and they are left to their own devices, and they grab something. They like the look. Oh, that looks like a cigar. They grab a LFD DL700. Okay. If you've never smoked cigars, or very beginner smoking cigars, and you grabbed an LFD DL700,
you're going to yak.
Yeah. But what that's going to do is make you believe that cigar isn't good. It's not that it's not good. It doesn't fit what you're either ready for or your profile, right? So you might look at something and smoke it, and it's super full, and it's, on a scale of 1 to 10, that sucker's a 9 in strength, stuff like that. Smoke it in, like, Jace, this thing's a 95 on this point scale. And I smoke it, and I'm like, oh my God, like, too strong and everything like that. I'm like, that's just not good. That's not correct, though, right? It's out of context for what a person enjoys.
Right. Yeah, and that was one of the things I want to talk about, was like how to pick out your perfect cigar, right? Like, and from a tobacconist perspective, retailer perspective, when someone comes in, I ask them a series of questions, especially if they're getting into it. And that series of questions involves things like, what's your price point, right? Because if you buy a $20 cigar and it doesn't live up to what you think a $20 cigar should smoke like, it's not going to be a good cigar.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, that will shade your opinion on it.
Right.
For sure.
What kind of flavor profile do you like? And usually when it's starting out, it's, hey, do you want something more traditional or sweet? Or if it's someone who says, hey, I've been smoking cigars for a little bit, I want something a little bit more medium. A lot of times the next question I'll ask is, hey, give me some stuff that you've smoked that you've liked.
Yeah.
Because I know the cigars, and so I know what they can compare to, but it's a very important question, because I want you to like what I recommend. And so if I have a good frame of reference of, hey, you smoke this and like it, then hey, I've got a good idea now. Size, very important.
Size is super important to me.
Super important. And that goes, we can talk about all we want, whether or not size matters. I'm just saying. According to Terrence at Aganorsa, who I love to death.
Torito.
Yes. It's a joke. Terrence says that the big ring gauges, you don't lose the flavor from the wrapper leaf. I personally disagree with that, so we can argue about that back and forth all we want. But the point being here is, if you don't like a big ring gauge, and I recommend you smoke a Gordo, you ain't gonna like it. You're gonna think it's a bad cigar.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing if you want something that's gonna last an hour and a half, and I recommend a Robusto, which I wouldn't do, but hypothetically, and that Robusto lasts you 45 minutes, you ain't gonna like that cigar. You're gonna come back in and you say, it burned too quick. Like, I don't want to do it again. It burned too quick.
Yep.
And even if I say, hey, why don't you try the next size up? Doesn't matter at that point. It just does not matter at that point. And that's why, I'll say this too, like, it's different from a retailer perspective, whether or not I'm dealing with a customer that is a new smoker or a seasoned smoker.
Sure.
Because just like with wine and beer and bourbon, once you have an idea of what you like, now we can start kind of following manufacturers, growing regions, whole nine yards. Like, if someone comes in and says, I like Nicaraguan tobacco and I like San Andreas Maduro, I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah,
now we're starting to narrow this down.
Yeah, we're on a lane.
bit.
Yeah, because if a person came in and their only experience was with Dominican cigars, and then, somebody was making an uneducated recommendation and it was jumped into a pepper bomb Nicaraguan, like, I think you would be, that doesn't say you wouldn't like it, but that first time smoking that, you're going to be caught off guard if all you've ever smoked really is Dominicans, right? Like, you're going to be like, what is this thing spoiled? What's going on? Why does it taste like I licked a pepper block? Why is it so spicy?
And that actually happened to me the other night. I had a gentleman come in who was here with his dad, and he walked in the humidor and he said, I want something full and bold and strong.
Got it.
If you say that, I'm going to give you a Nicaraguan Maduro cigar. That's just what I'm doing. Right?
Yeah, why listen, you asked for it.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to get. This is what you said you wanted. If
Yeah.
you came to the bar and you said, I want, this 125 proof bourbon or whatever it is, like, all right, there it is. Yeah.
Now, the one interesting thing he said to me is, I don't smoke cigars very often.
Smoky.
So, normally if someone says, I want something full and strong and in your face, I'm going New World Decenio or something like that, something really strong. With this guy, I actually went Perdomo 20 Maduro. Something that was still going to be strong, but wasn't going to kill him, right?
Backed off of the other.
He came back inside. He said, listen, man, that cigar was awesome, but it kicked my ass.
Boo.
And he was like, I want something else Maduro, but that's not going to be as strong. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't say this, but I was like, that's where we probably should have started. But you gave me one direction, and that's the direction I went with.
You put some context and some parameters about what you wanted.
Yep.
And we don't want to, listen, you come in and ask for something very specific. It's our job to give you that something very specific.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I gave him a double Chateau Maduro. He came back in and he was like, I loved it. He was like, it was perfect.
That's that's that Dominican Nicaraguan difference right there.
And so those are the things that come into play. But like, if anybody's listening, if you're listening to this, you're probably kind of geeky about cigars. So you got a good idea about what you like. But if I can give anybody advice when you're trying to figure out what you like, figure out what country you like, then figure out what manufacturer you like, and then go from there, right?
Yeah, because we don't have to keep you in that manufacturer, but we know what that manufacturer does well and that what you like about that, and then we can make some other recommendations about some other people who like fit that lane.
Correct.
You know what I mean? If you want to stay,
go ahead.
Stuff that you enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and what I was going to say is, and a lot of these manufacturers make a lot of cigars for other people.
Correct.
Right? So if someone comes in and says, I like my father, but I want something different, I recommend them Tatuaje.
For sure.
If someone comes in and says, I want AJ, but I want something different, honestly, now that we've got it, probably going to go Illusione in the Habano, right, that AJ makes for him. If someone says, I want Padron, normally I go Perdomo. Or I want Padron, but I want something different. I normally go Perdomo because they're kind of similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. No. But these questions are really important because they give us parameters to put you in the right things so that you don't have a bad experience. Because at this point, all of us have had a bad experience smoking a cigar, and it ain't fun.
No, and listen, a lot more customers too are enjoying these cigars with us now because we have this expanded lounge, the patio, the bar, and all that. So you're going to get some real-time, real-world feedback, right? Where that didn't happen as often. Because like if somebody takes it home, smokes it, they didn't enjoy it, and then some time passes, they're probably not going to be as salty coming back with how it is, right? Versus like if you put them something wrong, they're smoking 20 feet from you in a chair, and they're staring right at you, and they're looking at you like, this thing fucking sucks, man. What did you do to me? You know, that kind of thing. Like there's some instant feedback that you're going to get, and you know it. So it's just one thing. The one that I always, you see now, it's because it's a brand that we carry heavily that still, in my opinion, is gaining traction as a brand of their own, but makes a lot for a lot of people that things are enjoyed, is Aganorsa. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, I really like this. What just so happens that this company makes that. And there's a handful of other brands that we have that's the case for Aganorsa specifically. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and that, you know, this goes back to brand knowledge. And this isn't something I ever expect a customer to have, but something I think is important that we have. I had a conversation one time with the old Aganorsa rep about why people don't gravitate towards Aganorsa's more mild cigars. And I was like, well, all of Aganorsa's more mild cigars are still medium. Yeah. Aganorsa is known to have really strong tobacco.
Yep.
So, but that goes back into the recommendation and finding the perfect cigar. Because if someone comes in and says, hey, I'm just getting started, as much as I like, and I know you like the JFR Connecticut, I'm not recommending that to them because it's probably going to be too strong, even though it is a Connecticut wrapper.
You know, the JFR Connecticut, or really actually any Aganorsa Connecticut, to be honest with you, is not the Connecticut Smokers Connecticut, if that makes sense. It's a Connecticut more for the person who's a step or two above, but wants to something a little bit more mellow in that timing, or is, you know, working their way up out of what we would call traditional Connecticut's. I've had a love affair for the last year and a half, probably, if not a little bit longer, with the newer Nicaraguan Connecticut's. That's not to hate on Dominican Connecticut's. You just won't find me smoking those. Like, that's too mild even for me. But is that a super popular, super selling cigar? 100%. There's where a lot of people who, there can be a natural evolution from flavored sometimes into then like, oh, I want something traditional. All right. Then it's probably Dominican Connecticut. Then you get into more medium Dominicans. That's like, I want to try something with some spice. Okay, now we're going on the other side of the humidor into some Nicaraguan stuff. But I've had this affinity for these really good new age, let's call them Connecticut's, that I think a lot of companies have explored over the last year and a half that we've seen that have just been, you know, I think I had gone away from, this is not a new cigar, but I had gone away from and then got back to the Hoya Connecticut and how much I really, really like that cigar. But if you smoke Dominican Connecticut's or very mild Connecticut's and then you had that one, you would be like, holy cow, like, you know what I mean? And it's not full by any stretch, but it's far more full than a Connecticut that you would probably experience on the otherwise. And there's just been this new age wave of these kind of experimentation with these, because I think it was a very, I don't want to say forgotten, but it was a very much like, okay, we've got it, let's move on to some other things, and then it has been revisited. I love Legacy Connecticut, right? Like that is just in the wheelhouse of what I really enjoy.
That's another great example of like, if someone's starting out, I'm not recommending that to them.
No,
I'm going champagne.
100%. For sure.
Because that Legacy Connecticut, that is you said, that's a medium
two to three notches above of what a champagne is on the scale. For sure.
Because I'm with you. The Legacy Connecticut is quickly, if not my favorite, quickly becoming, or if not already my favorite, medium-bodied Nicaraguan Connecticut that we carry.
Yeah.
But again, that's coming from someone that likes something that has a little bit more body and strength to it, but wants the flavor profile that a Connecticut wrapper has to offer.
Yeah.
But
that's piece unique. Like,
yep.
You know, it's this whole thing. But yeah, like you said, like that is a couple steps above. But that goes to the knowing what lane the person fits in and what makes a great cigar for that person, right?
Yeah, and kind of getting back to these reviews and everything, you know, we always talk about Half Wheel because personally, love them or hate them, Half Wheel's the most consistent grading blog out there, for lack of better words. Once you kind of read a couple reviews,
I trust and appreciate their reviews and their scoring system more than anybody else's.
Yep. But that's why their consensus list is so great when it comes to top 25, because why do they have to do a consensus list? Because everybody's got a different favorite.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Now, there is normally a consensus on what cigar was the best that came out last year, and that was My Father Blue, which is interesting because My Father Blue did not make Half Wheel's top 25 last year. But guess what? It was number one on the consensus. That was
the biggest shocker of last year, by the way.
I don't disagree. But that's the subjectivity of it. Like, everybody likes different stuff, and so you're probably going to rate, actually you are just going to rate stuff different than what I do or what you do.
Yep.
And that's just how life is. But, you know, when it comes to these cigars and picking out the perfect cigar and what is the perfect cigar, most of it is subjective. And that was the biggest thing I wanted to touch on today, because we hadn't had a real cigar-centric podcast in a long time, but it's really been a point of, I don't know what the word I want to use is. It's just been a point of focus here recently for me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Listen, for me, I wanted to hit, and I'd love to hear kind of like your top. They're going to be overlappings. Consistency is near the top, and obviously I'm going to put consistency with quality control, near the top. I personally want medium, generally speaking. If we're putting the sucker, easiest thing to do is a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to stick between 4 and 6, right? 4 probably the most mild I want to go on a consistent level. 6 probably the highest. Do I smoke more full things than that? Yeah, absolutely. But what I consistently want to be in is going to be there. Nicaraguan for me, 9 times out of 10. We've really enjoyed some Hondurans though, like we've said. And then there's some goofy things that make cigars, and that what makes the cigar community in our lounge. The environment for which you enjoy the cigar can wildly change your perception of the cigar.
I meant to say that earlier. I'm going to pause you right there.
Take it.
You can smoke one cigar with your friends, guys' weekend, girls' night, whatever, where you're in a great environment, the weather's beautiful, you got a great cocktail, you're laughing, you're having fun, and that is the best. You got a couple bourbons in you.
Yep. You're shooting the shit with your buddies. You're talking sports.
Yep.
You're going to come away from that cigar like, golly, that was just about the best thing I could have done.
Yep.
And if it's in the opposite,
you can smoke that exact same cigar in a terrible mood, just awful day at work.
You'll leave half of it in the ashtray and storm out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Environment
and it
matters.
Can be the same cigar.
Yep. Environment and matters more than people realize. Because I mean, that's a home court advantage, home field advantage we do have here. Is usually people are here hanging out, talking, having a good time.
That's right.
And so we don't necessarily have to worry about that. We've kind of got that upper hand when it comes to them enjoying their cigars.
100%.
Because if you're, like I said, if you're having a bad day or whatever and you smoke a cigar, there's a chance that even if you have to touch it up one time, it's going to piss you off more than it normally would, and now that cigar is bad.
Yep. But if you're here and you come in a bad mood, but you sit down and our guys give you a drink, you have a nice cocktail, bourbon, beer, whatever it is, cigar, you sit down, somebody else sits down, you carrying out conversation, we've got the TVs going, now you're watching the soccer game or golf or whatever it is, and everything kind of fades away on, and then you're just like, all right. And then now we're coming out to you like, hey, can I get you another drink? How's the cigar? Not being overbearing and over your shoulder or anything like that. Now you're in this like, all right, like, I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And, one other thing I wanted to touch on, and I love what these guys do, so this isn't a knock on them, but I've noticed Creekside, those guys, they've been doing a lot of videos of like top 5 Maduro cigars in the humidor.
Yeah.
Top 5.
They've been heavy on the content stuff, which I appreciate, but a little bit can come off as a little, Yeah.
One thing I will say about those kind of videos is use them as recommendations, not as gospel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because, again, like top 5 Maduro cigars in the humidor. What are your top 5 Maduro cigars in the humidor? Not that you smoke a lot of Maduro. I'm just... give me top 3.
Do we consider My Father Blues a Maduro? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be one. Tabernacle, and probably... Oh, probably just like a core Padron Maduro.
So mine would be Padron Exclusivo, Cro-Magnon, and either Tabernacle or Decennia, right?
Yeah. I don't smoke Cro-Magnon. I need to because you guys love it so much. I love their mild stuff so much that I have a tendency to grab that more often, but I do need to venture into that.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is that we are at the same place, have access to the same humidor, and have a different top three.
You and I have access to all the exact same things.
Correct.
And if we were hanging out downstairs, and I said, go in and grab me your 5 favorite best cigars, what you think are the 5 best cigars out of the humidor. Don't show them to me. Come out, hold them in. And I'm going to go in right after you. And I'm going to grab what I think are the 5 best cigars in the humidor. The odds are we would have one that would overlap.
Yep. And that, honestly, knowing us is probably the Perdomo legacy. And
that's exactly what I was going to say.
We'd pick different wrapper leaves.
We would pick different wrapper leaves. You probably, that's interesting. I would almost certainly pick the Connecticut.
I would pick the Natural Shade.
That's what I thought you would say. And I love that one too.
Yep.
There would be part of me would grab both, to be honest with you, but just out of posterity, I would probably only grab one just to make it even. But yeah, that would be the one that we would overlap because of what you like compared to what I like. And we would only overlap on one probably in a very tight humidor. We don't carry everything. Right? It's not as if there's 10,000 different ones to choose from, and we would still choose pretty close to 5 different ones.
Yep. And so that was the point with all of this. Like the Creekside stuff, like I said, I love what they're doing. I'm not knocking them for the videos. Don't fall for the clickbaity stuff. For lack of better words, right?
Yeah, like, use it as a recommendation.
Use it as a recommendation. Yeah. They're great videos for that.
Yeah.
Great videos for that. But if someone says, hey, this is the best Maduro in the humidor, it is their best Maduro.
Because they're like us. They don't carry everything. I've seen their humidor. Correct. Like they're heavy
tight, boutique. They carry a lot of stuff we don't carry.
Very tight humidor. Yep. And you're going to, you can drop in the comment, tell us your 5 favorite cigars. I would love to hear it. You're going to come up with a lot of things that we don't carry or things that we've talked about bringing in. You know what I mean? I'm sure some people would have said, I love this West Tampa before we had West Tampa, in which, might agree with. You know what I mean? Like, we've talked about HDA. There's a lot of people who love that, and Domain and stuff that we don't carry. There's just a lot of stuff out there. The more important thing is what you do with it and how you enjoy it is going to really more shape, because listen, you're going to smoke a cigar and you could be in a lounge with a bunch of people, smoke that cigar, love it, and, some dude across the way from you is going to tell you it's trash.
Yeah,
because they don't
absolutely.
Like it. Like, oh, why do you smoke that? That's terrible.
Well, and it's like I was thinking about, we do a newsletter, and I reviewed the most recent Supreme Leaf, not the International, but the 109 Cuban Head Bellicoso in it. I thought that was the best size of Supreme Leaf
banger
that's ever been done. There were a lot of people that disagreed with me. There were a lot of people that didn't like it because it was too strong. And I don't take any offense to that because it's subjective.
Yeah.
Right?
Too strong for one person is not strong enough for the next.
Correct. Like there's a great customer who I'm thinking of right now that only wants things that absolutely kick you in the face.
Yeah.
And will not smoke anything else if it's not strong enough.
Yep.
He wouldn't have liked that cigar.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I do not take offense to that whatsoever at all. But again, that gets back to like everybody's got their own perfect cigar. You've just got to figure out how to pick it out.
Yeah, and how to shape it.
How to shape it, what it looks like, and well, boy, somebody's
road rage,
mad out there.
Road rage going outside.
Golly.
That other horn stuck.
It's still going. No, there it
goes. Yeah, a little road rage.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's very important. So the one last thing I want to talk about, because Mike and I had this conversation the other day when we were talking a little bit about ortolan and like the process of blending a cigar. And I feel like I know your answer, but if you had to blend your perfect cigar, what would it look like?
Oh, geez. It would be Nicaraguan, certainly. Wouldn't necessarily have to be a Nicaraguan Puro, but predominantly Nicaraguan. Connecticut to Habano wrapper. Strength level in that 5 range. Touch of spice to it, but mildly more creamy to it would be the way, Yeah, that would be kind of where I would go. What about you?
So it was interesting because he was getting into like the ortolan blending process.
Yours is going to have a broadleaf wrapper on, almost certainly. Yes or no?
I'm going to get there. I have a funny idea I want to share with you on the podcast.
Interesting. All right.
And he was talking about the different things you can do with the blend, how you can bring different flavors out. I'm not going to get into all that. That's his story to tell in the podcast we'll have with him. But the question he asked me is, when you first light up the cigar, what is it that you want the person that is smoking it to get? Do you want refinement? Do you want strength? Do you want pepper? And the way he equated it was, do you want it to be a symphony or do you want it to be a 70s rock song? And I said, if I was blending a cigar, I'd want it to be Stairway to Heaven. Something that starts out slow and builds.
Okay, so that's, for me personally, I'm going to let you go, but I'll say this because you asked me first, but I like when a cigar builds to what it ultimately wants to be versus what it hits you up front.
Yep.
So I've smoked a lot of cigars that I like that will hit the spice a little bit really quick, but it falls, but then kind of like, it hits you like, almost like when you, this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's like, when you have to have a Coke.
Yep.
And like the first bite of the Coke hits hard, you're just like, but then you just kind of slow sip the Coke the rest of the way. That's kind of how I like it. Like I want a little bit of pop up front, but then I want it to build kind of going back the rest of the way. And
I'm the same way. I want the cigar to grab my attention when I first light it up, but I
want that.
But initially. I want it correct, but I want it to keep my attention.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want this thing to then. I don't want what I first got to be the best of the cigar.
Mm-hmm. So for me, the longest time, I always said Corojo because that's what I love. The thing about Corojo is there's a lot of Corojo cigars out there.
Yeah.
That's why, yes, it probably would be broadleaf, and this is going to be me sounding geeky again. But if I did a broadleaf cigar, I wouldn't want it to just be earth and spice and cocoa and coffee. I'd want it to be like a meal, right? Like one of my favorite cigars of all time is the Tatuaje TAA 50th, which David Gillette was kind enough to give me one today. Yep. It's meaty like a steak is, but then it's creamy like the sauce or mashed potatoes would be, and then it finishes with this rich chocolate that like is the dessert. Like it's like a meal, like a full meal.
Yep.
That's what I would want my cigar to be like. And so my idea that I had, I don't know that it's feasible, and I can't believe I'm going to give this man credit, but I got the idea from Steve Saka. We were talking about doing a 30th anniversary Pipe and Pint cigar, and Mike's trying to convince me to convince you to go down to El Teton to blend a cigar down there.
Right, yeah.
And I said, man, it would be awesome if we could do a split box where we did, so Steve Saka just did the Year of the Possers, which had 2 different blends in it, one for the wife and one for the husband. It'd be awesome if we could go down and do a Jason and Ethan Pipe and Pint 30th anniversary cigar, where your cigar is the Connecticut wrapper, my cigar is the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. They're blended the way that we like them, and you get one of each. Because I was talking to him, and I was like,
quickest sale ever made right there.
Yeah,
done. Done.
Because I was talking to him, I was like, it's tough because, when you're down at El Teton, they've got minimum buys, rightfully so. So it's a lot of cigars. And it's like, he asked me, he was like, what would your customer base like? And I was like, most of our customer base is Nicaraguan. They like a little bit more medium full. They want something that's going to be a little bit more spicy. But with that being said, the guy that owns the company, you, likes something a little bit more mild, wants something a little bit more mild, medium, a little bit more creamy and everything. I was like, it'd be awesome to do a split box where we had 2 different blends, one lighter, one darker. I don't know if that's feasible, but I thought it was a great idea.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about before you said that?
I don't know. I was talking about steak and cake.
I think just... I'll finish that, but then I remember now what I was going to ask you. That is the thing for me, is I'm with you on the nuance and the build of it. Like, I don't want it to hit me with spice, and certainly, like, that's the only spice I get. If I want spice, I do want a consistency of spice through the whole thing, right? It's, but I don't want that to fall off. I like it when you get that pop, it builds back up to where that was, maybe halfway through, and then finishes strong. I hate it when a cigar finishes the last half weak compared to what it started out as. I would certainly almost rather it do the opposite, right? I'd rather it finish strong, in it, not in strength wise, but in its profile, than I would it to go in the opposite direction. Even though it's probably the exact same, I would rather build to it than it fall off.
Yeah.
Right. So the question I was going to ask you, when it comes to cigars, when you're looking and everything like that, where does the look of the cigar fall for you? The actual visual look of it.
So I much more care about how the wrapper leaf looks than I do the box presentation.
And that's more what I'm talking about.
If that's what you're asking.
Like, I think I think sometimes when you look at like a wrapper that's very toothy, right? That we call it, like, I think that can be off-putting to people. Like it almost looks like it's bad.
Yeah.
We've had some cigars in the past where like the wrapper just looks like it's all over the place, but then just burns awesome and everything like that and is great. It's not as important to me on that list of things as what the quality and the construction of it is. Because if it looks like shit but burns awesome, it doesn't bother me as much as if it looked pretty but burned terribly.
So I'm about 50-50 with you on it. I agree with what you're saying, but for me, if it's a new cigar from a brand that I've never tried before,
okay,
and I have no previous knowledge of them, have never smoked one. If the wrapper leaf looks ugly, I'm less inclined to smoke it.
Yeah.
If it's if I know it's Aganorsa Corojo and it's got some water spots or sunspots or is super toothy, I could care less.
Yeah.
But
because I know what I'm
getting.
Your expectations already been fulfilled.
I know what I'm getting. Yeah. Same thing with AJ. Like some of AJ's Maduros are super toothy, super rough and
gritty,
rugged looking,
like
gritty.
Paper.
Yep. I know what that's going to taste like, so I have no problem with that. But if it's a new brand that I've never heard of, especially coming out of a factory that I've never had something from, much more inclined to say, hey, that's an ugly cigar. I don't know how that's going to taste.
Yeah. Where do you put, this is going to be like when a customer does this kind of thing, the actual like scent of a cigar. Because it does like how often, I mean, we had a guy at the event. We were getting, we did it with Caldwell in our bourbon event. So it was a buy X, get another one free, the kind of thing. And Cole was giving the guy a free cigar. He's like, can I smell them? And I said, well, they're in cellophane. Like, but sure. You know what I mean? And literally smelled the cellophane, which we all know is getting you 0.
So you're talking about the actual smell of the cigar.
Yeah, the actual smell of the cigar out of the box.
The stinkier, the better.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, the stinkier, the better.
Which I don't know that the average consumer would necessarily think that that's a good thing.
No. Listen, we're all trained that if we smell shit, it's shit.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
If I smell a cigar that smells like shit,
you know you're getting.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. This is not if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck type of thing. It can be completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he smelled it through cellophane and he said, yeah, that's the one. And I was like,
right.
Okay, cool, man. That's yours.
Right
Take
on.
it. Right on. You know, there's so many people smell it through the cellophane. You can't even get, I mean, maybe a little bit, but even on the heavy flavored stuffs that are in cello, you can't even get.
I think about the only thing you can smell is the acid, and that's because the tobacco in the box is
that's from the scent of the actual like tobacco that's filling the box for presentation wise that you're getting. You're not actually getting. Yeah, so I just found that very funny when he was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." I was like, "All right, cool, man.
Right on."
Smells like petroleum product is what you're getting
that's
there."
Right.
But,
that's right.
But hey, if that's what you're looking for, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Good trip down the lane here. I like it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what we try to do, and it's not going to be perfect every time. We may get you into something that we think is going to be good with all your magnation. You may not enjoy it. But that is cigars, right? There's something in there. If you're a cigar person, there's something in there for everybody. And it's not a one size fits all. Literally not a one size fits all, right?
Yeah.
I don't care for anything, generally speaking, over 56. Ring gauge is kind of, I will smoke them, especially if it's samples and somebody's asking. But if I'm going in there, like, I'm just not going to grab something like that. I like smaller ring gauge stuff. I like Lanceros a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, we've got more Lanceros in. This is just by our humidor. I think everybody, you may be listening. Lanceros is a very, very finicky thing, right? You either love it or you hate it. They don't fly off the shelves by any stretch of the imagination. But the ones that we've carried the last month have flown off. The Caldwell stuff, the West Tampa ones that we had in, I really enjoy a Lancero. But I think, there's a lot of people get turned off by them because there's this. I was talking about it with somebody in the humidor the other day. When it comes to big ring gauge and small ring gauge, it's probably not all of the reason, but there is certainly, I think, with the big ring gauge stuff, a perception of value to it, where it's like, look how much more tobacco I'm getting for the price versus, because you might find something in there, a Lunatic from Aganorsa that's, a 60 plus ring gauge size cigar. That's the same price as a Lancero. And there's that, if not cheaper a lot of times. And there's that perception of value. And it's not that one is better than the other, but you know what I mean? I wouldn't use that as a barometer when you're purchasing something.
Yeah, no, it's a great example because Lanceros and Torpedoes, Salamones, those specialty size cigars.
Like, I love Salamone size.
Yeah, but they're also the hardest to roll.
Yeah.
So only the best torciadors can roll them and make them and bunch them and everything. I just threw out the Spanish.
Good Lord,
right
you're thinking, throwing out the lingo, bro. Good night. I was not, where are my notes? I was not prepared for that. What does that mean? Banana in Spanish? I'm not even sure.
But so only the best rollers can make them, which means that there's not many of them out there, and the production on them is lower, and they don't get as big of a yield on them, so they're more expensive.
Yep.
But your average consumer doesn't know that.
Yeah, and then there's just the popularity of them, so there's not a priority on rolling them when they know that, like, these boxes are not flying off a retailer shelves, so we got to prioritize what actually gets rolled.
Yep.
So, great pod. Happy 4th of July to everybody. When you hear this, we promise the next one there will not be a huge lag. We've got the studio set up now. We can just pop up here. We've had a busy couple of days. Lay off. All right. Give us a
stop
break.
Yelling at us.
Stop yelling at me. We're doing a lot, man. We're doing a lot. We've got successes, we've got problems, we've got issues, we got great stuff. It's going good. We've got some events coming up. We got end of July. So if you're a customer and you're in the Greensboro area or any of our shops, end of July, we've got our guys from West Tampa and Illusion coming to do an event. We got some live music that night. We're going to try to plan another bourbon tasting of some sort, maybe for next month or the month after. We've got our baseball game coming up. We made the determination yesterday that we are going to do an Oktoberfest, which is going to be massive. We'll talk about more about that as the podcasts go. What else we got going on?
Ortolan event.
September 12th. Shout out Mike Martello. Shout out Ortolan. You're going to want to be here for that because there's very few times that you get to be part of something as cool as it is of a new boutique cigar, as good as this one is, to be around the person who's done it, talk to them about why he did it, how he did it, and share that excitement with them to something that, listen, there's not going to be a whole lot of ways to get your hands on this cigar, and you're going to want to smoke the cigar. You just are. It's awesome.
Yep.
But it looks awesome.
Yep. And I mean, the packaging is fantastic. He went above and beyond on it.
And he's doing it, listen, and this is not somebody who's throwing a band on something that came off the end of the line or something like that. He's taking the steps to do something cool, unique, new, and doing it with some of the best people in the business with El Titan. Like, they're known for knowing what they're doing. Like, they're no joke, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, for listeners, I can't wait to have him on the podcast. You know, he's going to be here in person from September the 9th through the 12th. So one day before the event, we're going to have him on the podcast and let him tell his story.
Yep.
Tell the story of Ortolan, kind of give some history because there's some significance to the name and what he wanted to do. And again, it goes back to your perfect cigar, right? Like, he went in with an idea of what he wanted to do, and that's what came out. And it's unbelievable, but again, it's his story, and I'm excited for him to tell it.
We're super excited. We've been talking about it for so long. We've had a lot of people since we've posted about it. Like, when can I get it? Well, how do I get hands of this new? I saw you guys do this. Like, you're going to have to wait. Like, trust us when you tell it's worth it.
I got customers that know I'm friends with Mike. They're like, hey, man, you got any Ortolan? I'm like, no, they're mine.
Yeah, I was going to say, do I? Yes. Can you have it? No.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. We got plenty more events coming up. Follow our social media. We'll be back on the pod sooner than later, I promise. We've got some cool ideas about some new pod topics that I think
we're still looking for a model that's willing to wear a green suit, by the way. If anybody wants to do
you're
it.
out there and you're listening, you're willing to come to the Greensboro store and you're willing to wear a green full bodysuit, green man, and hold some fake leaves, shout us in the comments, and we will get you a couple free sticks, a beer that you can enjoy with us. You're just gonna have to stand here and look like a fool, but we will cover your face for you if you would like.
That's right.
Yeah, perfect. All right, appreciate it, buddy.
Yes,
Good
sir.
pod as always. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, between two burns, yeah, between two burns. Come and join the convo. Jason and Ethan here to talk, yo. Chillin' while we filling up the room with cigar smoke. Hey, between two burns, yeah, between two burns. This be the show that you like. We always keeping it hype. We got cigars and a mic, talking the pipe and the pint. Let's go.